Hello, and welcome to the extended training video for Intel Unite. My name is Yanni. Today we'll be getting a firm grasp on Intel Unite features and requirements. So whether you work in IT or you are a technology reseller, there'll be plenty of valuable information for you, including configuration options and deployment procedures. Today, we're joined by Brian Cockrell. He is a software engineer at Intel. He's also the co-creator and designer of Intel Unite software. Brian, it is so nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Johnny. It's great to be here today.
What can you tell us about Intel Unite?
Well, Intel Unite is a collaboration solution. It is both hardware and software, and it connects users whether they're in the office or working remotely, so they can all collaborate in a meeting together.
Can you tell us about some of the basics of Intel Unite?
There's three key components to Intel Unite. There are the devices, there's Intel Unite Hub, and Intel Unite Enterprise Server. The devices are what you might bring to the room that you want to present your content onto the screen or projector, or you might be working remotely on your device, and you can also join the meeting remotely. There's also a hub piece, which is an Intel vPro Technology mini PC, and this is what you put in a conference room or your meeting room. You connect it to a projector, or like we have here, LED display. And finally, in an enterprise deployment, we have a server that manages and secures your Intel Unite deployment.
Now, do you have to have access to a network?
Yeah, all the components are going to be on your business network, and that enables them to wirelessly share content together.
All right, Brian, so let's talk configuration generally. Can we start with the network?
So in an enterprise network, one of the things that you'll want to do, it's not required, but it's recommended, is to set up a DNS service record. And what that means is when you bring a client or a hub onto your network, the first thing it does is ask DNS, hey, where does the enterprise server, what's its location? It's kind of like a pointer. It says, okay, we're on the network. I know where to find my enterprise server to get my PIN or to connect to a hub. So the hub, which is in your meeting room or conference room connected to your display, for hardware requirements, you need an Intel mini PC with vPro technology. And then for software, it's either Windows 7, Windows 8.1, or Windows 10. And then, of course, you need to run the Intel Unite Hub software on the hub. For your clients, we support Windows and Mac OS X clients. So for Windows, it's either Windows 7, Windows 8.1, or Windows 10. And it can be any PC, just as long as it meets those OS requirements. And then we support, of course, Apple Mac.
Tell me about configuring your server.
So the OS requirements are either Windows 2008 Release 2 or greater. And then you also need a database as well. So we require Microsoft SQL Server 2008 or greater.
So how does this differ from other screen sharing technologies or conferencing tools?
With Intel Unite, it's built on an open framework. So if you have a cool feature you want to add for a specific need for your business, we have an SDK or developers kit that you can write to and create your own new features.
Fantastic, kind of open source, if you will.
A little bit like open source, yeah. And also it allows remote participants. So some of these wireless technologies or wireless display, you have to be in that conference room. You have to be sharing there, connected almost directly to that, whatever's in the room. With Intel Unite, you could be a world away. You could be working at home or be working in a remote office, and everyone can come together on Unite.
That's fantastic. So if I had a meeting of 20 people, they could all plug into Intel Unite remotely?
Sure, you'd only need one person actually in a conference room connected to a hub.
Wow.
Your 19 others could be at remote sites, but you're all connected together, working together.
Say I wanted to have 100 people on the Intel Unite hub. Is that possible?
Sure, that's possible. So typical meeting sizes are maybe 2 to 10, but we validate the devices all the way up to 100 people. Now,
I just saw this number change. What does that mean?
So this is a rotating pin. It changes every 5 minutes, and it's like the key to get into a meeting. You need this 6-digit pin in order to join that meeting. So if you've joined a meeting and then you leave, disconnect from the meeting, you can't get back in because this pin continually changes.
All right. So if I had just left, then it changed, I'd need to connect with somebody in the meeting in order to have access again.
Yeah, you'd have to be authorized either by entering the room or someone would have to give you that pin.
What kind of customizations can businesses use to tailor to their own experience?
Sure. So businesses, they can customize the display that's in the room. So this is on the Intel Unite Hub. They could change branding. They could put their own logo on this screen. So when people walk into the room, they can say, hey, this is, it's a logo of the company they're visiting, or it's their own branding. They can also change the text that might be on the screen. And using the admin portal, you could customize it so that You have different languages, different branding based on what region you're in, what country.
Can you speak to some of the plugins?
Sure. So we have some reference plugins that we've written that are available on Intel.com. So users can do things like you can change the lighting in a room from your laptop. You could change temperature in the room. But then there's other things like managing video conferences. But we have an SDK, so you could write a plugin to do whatever is needed for your specific organization.
So say I needed to create a translate feature. Could I create that?
Absolutely. You could get transcription, translation, and then maybe play that back after the meeting.
So Brian, we've talked a lot about it. Let's see it in action.
All right, let me show you how it works. So we have the Intel Unite software, and then we enter the 6-digit PIN.
Which is 743643. Wow, that was so fast.
Yeah, fast and easy, and now we're connected. And so the next step, which is step 3, is to click share.
Great. Wow, and there's your screen. Say we want to add more people to the room.
Sure, so you just need to get your other device, so in this case an OS X device. We just need to enter the 6-digit PIN.
Which is 507052.
And now the second device is connected to the room.
And there it is, and now we click share.
Exactly. So when we share our screen,
And there it is.
we go side by side with the other screen.
Now, how many screens can you see at one time?
You can have up to 4 people sharing per display, but you could have 8 displays connected to one Intel Unite hub at a time.
Where do we go from here?
Well, we've kind of designed Intel Unite around this peer-to-peer philosophy, so we don't have a meeting moderator or someone that has to take control and assign rights for people to share.
So anyone can come in and share information.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 2 screens up right now. If I want to take over, I can select take over, and now I'm sharing. I didn't have to get permission. I could just do it.
So that seems like a pretty big difference between other screen sharing technologies.
Yeah, exactly. And with Intel Unite, we just assume we're all peer-to-peer and we can all manage our screen presentations. If I want to go back over to the other screen, I can just select take over, and now I'm sharing with the other device. So if you think about 10 or 20 people connected to a meeting, some people are in the room, some people are remote, it's really easy to switch presenters. There's no more handing that video cable around or assigning presenter rights to someone that wants to share.
I noticed on this screen it says view presentation. Can we see that again?
Sure. So on this device, if I'm remote, maybe I'm not in the room, but I want to see what's going on, I can select view presentation. And as you can see here, now this remote user can see what's going on in the room.
So if we were to do something on this screen, it would pop up here. Is that right?
So if I move the content, if I move the Intel Unite window,
And there it goes.
it makes a change here.
Wow.
So if you imagine 50 remote users, they all get to see what's going on inside the room.
Is there anything else that I should know about?
Sure. So one of our security features is the ability to see who is connected. So as you can see, I have 2 users, and I could disconnect those users. So again, peer-to-peer, we don't assign someone as a meeting moderator or host. You can go in and disconnect users.
Now I'm noticing a little settings dial down here. What is that about?
Sure. So users have some configuration that they can do on their Intel Unite software. So the settings button allows you to tells you a little bit about the software, kind of the version, some copyright information, but also you can change your profile information.
Oh, great.
You could change your name and how it shows to other meeting participants. And you could also make an avatar. We have a peer-to-peer connection, so you could actually have one device connect to another device, and you could say, hey, either always accept those connections, or hey, ask me when someone's trying to connect to my computer.
That's great.
So sometimes at the end of a meeting, you may want to share a large file, like a 1 gigabyte video file, or something else that maybe you can't send by email. So with Intel Unite, there's a share files feature. Want to see how this works?
Yes, please.
So you can share files, and then you select your file to share.
Perfect.
And then you don't have to share it to all the recipients. You can select each recipient that's going to get it.
So if you had information that was maybe a little more private, then you can select who it goes to.
Yes.
Great.
And as it gets sent, the data is encrypted, files encrypted, sent to the Intel Unite hub, and then sent out to the participants that are supposed to receive it. And then participants can select whether or not they want to receive that file.
Right. So how do you keep all of this technology secure?
That's a great question. So the server, we use PKI, which is Public Key Infrastructure Services. And that PKI encryption keeps all of your pins encrypted. So a hacker can't get onto your network and kind of sniff your pins to figure out what meetings are available to tap into. And then all the end-to-end data, so your content, maybe your slides that are going up to your meeting, your display, those are all encrypted as well.
Brian, since we're talking security, what else differentiates Intel Unite in that regard?
So all of the hubs in Intel Unite require Intel vPro technology. And Intel vPro technology enables you to really harden the hub against hackers and other people that might be trying to access the hub. So these hubs are unattended in conference rooms, which means there's no one there. So if someone comes in, they try to compromise that device. With Intel vPro technology, you can really lock it down so people can't get into that hub.
So not only are we talking about protecting the network, but now you're talking about protecting the hardline as well.
Absolutely.
So Brian, we've discussed security over the network. We've discussed security with an unattended device. Is there anywhere else we can find information on security?
Sure. So Intel IT published a white paper at Intel IT Center that describes how Intel hardened their Intel Unite hubs in our deployment.
Now, how do we manage all of these technologies?
Let me show you how it works. I'm going to use Intel Unite to display my screen.
And that will show up here? Oh,
yep.
There it is.
There it is. So we use the Intel Unite admin portal, and that allows you to manage, secure, and monitor your Intel Unite deployment. Let me show you a few things on the portal.
Please do.
So one of the key items here is device groups and profiles. So with device groups, maybe you want to manage client or devices that are in one country or one building with different policies than you might put in another. So you can create groups of devices, and these are all hubs we're talking about.
Talk to me about the different policies for each location.
Yeah, great question. So that's handled within profiles. And so you can create profiles and assign them to different hubs.
Wonderful. So you can view all of your devices right here.
And then you can customize each one. So this is a list of maybe you want different text, your different background images, maybe you want to enable or disable plugins on each hub for different regions. You can do all that within profiles.
What else do you have to show me?
Sure. So there's beyond just managing your hubs, you can manage people and their roles. So you're able to add users and assign different roles to those users. So you might have users that can only come in and maybe view statistics, or you can have someone else that's a super user that you can assign them different permissions. So maybe they can access certain hubs in certain regions, but perhaps not others.
Neat. So we've got users. What about server properties?
So server properties allows you to manage your systems and detect if something has gone wrong. For example, if a hub hasn't checked in or it's gone inactive, you can actually get alerts on that so that you can go out and proactively fix any hubs that might have been unplugged or disconnected from the network. We also have permissions and role assignments. So we can assign roles and create different roles for every user. For example, you may want to give one person the ability to just monitor hubs, but you might want to give someone else the ability to add new hubs or remove hubs from your network. With Intel Unite hubs, you can actually monitor and manage those devices. Some other solutions don't have the same management capabilities that Intel Unite does.
So what are some of the key features that really spark excitement in the technology field related to Intel Unite?
Well, from the IT shops, they really get excited when we tell them it's another manageable device for them. They may have 100,000 devices in their environment today that they know how to manage and secure, and we're adding one more, so for them, it's really easy to add it and integrate it into their environment.
What about a technology reseller?
Same thing there, right? They already know how to sell these kinds of devices. They know how to put software on them, and so we're giving them something that they know how to do already.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, welcome.
Well, that wraps up our training course for Intel Unite. I'd like to take a moment to thank Brian for sharing his expertise.
Thanks, it's been fun.
And thank you for refining your expertise to share with your customers or your team. I'll be back with more training courses, but until then, you can get more information on this transformative technology at intel.com/betterwaytowork.